What's the Church of Scientology so afraid of?
This is
SPTV.
Welcome back, everybody. We got our little body thetans exercised out of the system, and we're ready to rock and roll. Thanks for joining us for SPTV Monday Night Live. I am joined today by two people joining me for the first time. On the bottom, we have Liz Ferris. On the top right, we have Alicia. I always say Alicia Hoy Patterson. That's what you're on, like, Facebook, I think. Is that?
Yeah.
Do you go by all three names?
Yeah, we'll just say that, so it's harder for people to find me.
And so Vanessa was planning on joining us this evening. She's been waylaid a little bit. In her place, Nora Ames will be joining us. Nora's running a little late. It's been a wild day, everybody. And Alicia, I'll just do a little bit of introduction. So Alicia, right. You co-host with Vanessa the YouTube channel Degraded Daughters of Dianetics.
Absolutely.
And you guys have posted to your channel recently some of the saga of Liz Ferris.
Yeah.
And Liz, I don't want to do too much speaking on your behalf. I want to let you introduce yourself and let's tell everyone what the hell has been going on. So you were born and raised in Scientology, yes?
Yep, I was. They were both on staff when they started, and then instantly joined the Sea Org. So it was not instantly, but around. I was an infant. I have no memory.
There's a lot of people watching, in the former Scientology community who probably know both of your parents. Can we tell everyone who your mother is?
Sandra Ferris. Well, she went by either Sandra or Sandy, but Ferris.
And for the Scientologists in the chat, she would she be best known as having been the LRH-Com AOLA?
LRH-Com of AOLA.
And was she also for a stint the LRH-Com flag?
No, first, as far as she'll tell me, she doesn't tell me a lot. She first did the EPF, and then she went to INCOM, did some large project there, and then after INCOM became the LRH-Com of AOLA. That for many, many years. And then we flew to flag because she was becoming the LRH-Com there. And then she was there for about 6 to 8 months before she got in trouble.
And the content, and actually, Alicia, I've never introduced you because you've never been on my channel with me before. Can we give everyone real quick your history in Scientology?
Born into Scientology because I obviously chose this body and my family and my name. I chose all of that before I was born because I'm such a powerful Thetan. So I was born and raised in it. I went to public school most of my life, so I got pretty lucky in that sense. I did a short stint at Mojave boarding school, which was pretty shitty. I'll be doing more content about that. And recently started speaking out more publicly. I finally kind of got the chance to do it. My mom passed away, and she was the reason I kept quiet. So now I've got no real reason to be quiet about the shitty atrocities that the Church of Scientology has inflicted on so many people's lives, including ours.
And you and Vanessa, what made you guys both decide to start the channel together?
We're just nuts. We just joked about it for a while. Like, we've only reconnected in October. So it's not even been a full year since we reconnected. Like, we hadn't seen each other in 20 years. So we kind of grew up in the same LA area, knew each other. Our parents worked together. So we literally grew up knowing one another. Went different ways in life. And then 20 years later, we found each other. She posted something. I saw it. I liked it. She sent a message, and we were just messaging back and forth for like 6 months. And then we were like, should we start a YouTube channel? And I was like, who the hell cares what we have to say? Like, we're just some like weird kids with some screwed up past. And then I was like, oh, there's a whole world of this people that do care, that want to hear these stories because they're too nervous or scared, or they can't, because for so many years all of us probably couldn't say anything. So we're just insane, and we did it, and we're not even 3 months into it. So it's been a wild ride, and we met Liz, who's like the best, like a love. I just love you, Liz. I just gotta say, it's like our sister in arms for like ever. So from in this lifetime and a billion others, you don't get to get away from us.
So, not to bury the lead anymore, but Liz is the one who was told by Scientology almost 20 years ago that her father, who worked at the international base at Golden Air Productions, was dead. Liz, how did you find out a month ago that your father was in fact not dead?
Well, technically it started with finding out, no, he didn't die in 2004 or 2004. And then Mark was like, nope, he was alive when we left. And so, sorry, I'm really trying not to cry here.
Take your time. It's totally okay. We're not in any rush. We're not going anywhere. Go at your own speed.
So with them telling me that he was alive then, it was, well, a sucker punch. Because unfortunately, I've only been going through deprogramming since August 30th. Yay. It was just a gut punch. See, this is why I want to do.
No, this is totally okay. Honestly.
Okay. So at first I was like, well, maybe he died afterwards. Like, nobody does this. Nobody tells. And let's be honest, you leave the Sea Org at 20 or 18, you still have a lot of growing up to do emotionally, because unfortunately we're stunted. So I was still conditioned for quite a few things. So it hit me a lot harder than I thought it was. That there was even a possibility that he was alive and could have been my dad for the last 19 years.
Can I jump in with a question that might help guide you a little bit and answer a question I've seen thrown around in the comment section of the other videos a bit? Let's help frame this for everyone. A lot of people have trouble understanding how something like this is even possible. One of the questions I've seen is, did you guys not get a death certificate? Was there not a funeral? Help the people who don't really understand the culture of being in the Sea Org at the international base. And, you were still a Scientologist in good standing. It's not like you were declared a suppressive person and the church lied to you about this. You were still a freaking Scientologist and the church lied to you about this. Help everyone understand why, for example, no one in the family asked for a death certificate.
Because we grew up believing that what is said to us is true, even though they have the whole, if it's not written, it's not true. But if a Sea Org member tells you something and they outrank you, or if they're a Sea Org member, it's supposed to mean something, is the mentality that you have.
Mark wants you to know that I cry all the time and it's totally okay.
In fact, it's healthy, even though we don't know that. And just to make a little point, my mom's been deceased almost 2 years now. There's still people on her Facebook page that say happy birthday. They don't know she's dead. And they're Scientologists. And they have no clue that she's deceased. I got her ashes to prove it. Like, I know she's deceased. So it's not like, you don't mourn people when they pass away. And Aaron, you could probably talk more about this than I can, because
not unless you want me to start crying.
I mean, hey, we can.
I'm holding on by a thread.
Well, maybe it'll be a little comic relief for everybody, but
that's the problem. I'll either cry or start telling jokes.
Hey, that's our coping mechanisms. Okay,
at least it's been longer than 30 seconds, so
you're killing it. You're
just
doing
in case
so
I
good.
cuss.
You're totally allowed to curse. It's not there's you can say that F word. That's totally okay.
Okay, good.
Ooh, this is gonna be
Because I was
good.
trying to fancy it up. When they told me that he died, honestly, I never in a billion years would have questioned it. I had grown up a Scientologist, and fuck, for Christ's sake, you're just sitting there, and someone tells you that, it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks. I was 24 years old. I still had the mentality of probably a 19-year-old. Because, yeah, going to school. But at the same time, it was not a high mentality to believe that someone would lie. And why didn't I look for a death certificate? Because as my mom told me over and over, our religion wouldn't lie about that.
How about this? Because I mean, let's put death certificate to the side. I think that's a little extreme. Like, send me the death certificate. Like usually someone only asks for that if it's needed for some sort of legal purposes or estate purposes. What was there? Obviously there was no funeral because he wasn't freaking dead. But did none of the family members wonder whether there was going to be a memorial or a celebration of life? Because even in Scientology, they'll usually do some sort of a celebration of life thing. Like, and it's not like you're the only one they lied to. They lied to his entire family.
Yeah, and you got to also consider, okay, you guys don't know, but he pretty much wrote his family off shortly after I was born, and he joined the Sea Org. Hey, and it's the most gut-wrenching thing to find out that the only reason that my grandfather got to meet me was my mom got time off and took me to see my dad's dad. And I have pictures of this day, and I always thought my dad took me.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when I was younger, I met his mom once, but I didn't know her. But then they were there maybe a couple hours, and then suddenly he was like, my mom and I are going to Reno. We'll be back tomorrow. Okay, like, cool. No idea where I am. My mom's in the Sea Org. I couldn't even tell you what city I was in. And I stayed with his sister, who did not like kids and was vocal about it on a regular basis. He came back the next day, like, or day after, it was something like that. I was a kid. But he didn't treat them the way they deserved.
Wow.
And so a lot of his family, although they love their brother, it's really hard I can see where it's really hard to form an attachment to someone that you don't know what year you're going to see them, hear them, or if they even give a shit about you anymore.
Yeah. So you and Vanessa and your partner and Jeffrey Augustine went out to Golden Air Productions, went out to the international base to try and see your father. Was that the first time you had ever been out there?
Yeah. Well, I knew I went out there, or I was told I went out there, you know. And it was kind of like one of those things where I went out there once because my mom drove me by, like right before we left. And then, but we didn't get stopped at the gate. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time with this.
You're doing amazing.
You're doing awesome, Liz. We're all here for you.
But yeah, I've been there. And it had the same kind of horrors that it still has today.
Can you tell those people who are just tuning in and may not have seen any of the stuff that have been posted to the Degraded Daughter of Dianetics channel, what was it about a month ago that was your first sign, your first indication? What? He's He's not dead? What is it that happened?
This volatile feeling of wanting to throw up, and then feeling like I had failed him because
You got a
I
phone call,
stopped
right?
trying.
You got a phone call, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what Aaron's asking. The
Oh,
call
okay.
about the
Yeah,
freeloader.
tell them about the phone call that you got that started this whole journey.
Oh, hee-haw. So, I pick up the phone, and normally I don't pick up the phone for you know, either random numbers or whatever else, but it looked interesting and looked from LA. So I pick up the phone, and she's like, "Do you know where Bob is?" And at first I thought it was the wrong number. Like, this is the wrong number. Like, what's going on? Didn't know that it was the church. Fuck, I hate saying that word. And then they're like, "When are you going to start paying on his freeloader debt?" Oh, you mean Bob Ferris? And they're like, "Yes, but he's dead." And then click. Called my mom. And this is where a lot of people don't know. I lost my shit. I tried to tell my mom what was going on, and she just said, "Okay, let him die."
What does that mean?
Like, basically, like, leave him in the past. No matter
Even
what
though-
it is.
Okay.
No matter what it is, he wasn't a good father. He didn't participate in my life, even though the whole love there for that turd bucket is pretty far and beyond. She wanted me to not do or say anything and just leave him there because he didn't care enough to try.
Okay. Is your mom still a Scientologist?
Tricky thing.
I mean, officially?
Officially, no. She hasn't been on the bridge in 30 years. But
Right,
in
the
general,
question is, like, is she still, like, in good standing? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
if she were to walk into a church right now, she'd be accepted. No one would boot her out.
correct. They'd recruit her like they're doing regularly now.
There you go. That's the answer to that question.
So your mom did not, I'm not going to pick on your mom here, but I just have to make this clear or clarify for myself. She was not particularly interested in the aspect of having lied about someone's death for 20 years. She was more interested of
That didn't bother her.
Okay.
She wasn't shook to find out your dad might be alive. Like,
no, she just
owes me back
responded
child
like,
support, nothing.
not back child support, as I nearly like face plant my mic. But that he didn't participate in raising me. So whatever's going on with him, fuck it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Also, to everybody in the chat, we did not text or call each other about the black shirts. That just was organic.
Son of a bitch.
We're all SPs in this together.
Let me
We
just
used
say
our
something.
powers.
Universe,
Don't lie.
you guys.
We used our powers.
As the song was implanted in our brains, we stand tall. We are here together. We are the X gens. We are just in sync. Okay, like never before. We are here together. This is completely organic. If Vanessa shows up later in a black shirt, it's just kismet.
There's a
That's
high possibility. And also that We Stand Tall video is probably etched in all of our heads. I used to watch that as a kid.
We could all start singing it right now in unison with no prompting.
Probably, but it's not great. And I was crying watching it.
Let's not.
And my mom was like, "That's how I knew. That's how I knew you were a Scientologist in a past life."
Oh God!
You were crying watching that, and I was like, "Mom, what if I was crying because I knew the house of horrors that I was born into, and she thought it was hilarious?" I was a spicy teen, so I love it, Nora. I love your spicy side.
Yeah, but I love that we're all in black. It's but we're here.
Since you're mentioning the song, I'm interested how you guys got programmed with that song, because I'll tell you how I did. Me and Nora are probably the same way. Every single week before flag graduation, that song and that music video was on loop. We'd listen to it for like an hour every Friday evening. And I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love that shit.
It's kind of catchy. It's
We
kind of
would
catchy.
start
I can't lie.
dancing.
They did good. They
We
did
were almost
really good.
shaking to that song in the aisles, guys, like almost grinding on each other at Flag because that was our
Did you
jam.
get
Let's
in, did you get
be
in
honest.
trouble for though dancing like that? Because I got in trouble at Delphi. They pulled out rulers and shit, and they're like, "You're too close." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom."
So
come back and
Dorms
do
me
were
and
far,
Nora,
far
me and Nora used to get written up for acting like we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
all the time.
She was the
Out to
boyfriend.
be boys and girls.
She was the boyfriend. I was the girlfriend. No.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh.
I love that.
Oh, I'm sure people are loving that in the community right now.
We used to get written up all the time because we would just be having too much fun. Aaron and I
Yeah,
would have
if you-
plugging
if you
contests
laugh,
on the daily for
they're not
Coca-Cola.
happy.
We were the only two that would win because we were cheaters. We could open up the back of our throats and like down a 20 of Coke. And then we would just belch for about 2 minutes straight. And people were like so disgusted. Yeah. We were just teenagers being
You
dorks.
do what I was gonna say. You do what you have to do. You're still a teenager. You're just in a shitty predicament. I mean, even at Mojave, it was horrible for a while, and then I was like, "Fuck all this shit. We're gonna be. You want to call us 2D girls? I'm gonna pull up my Christina Aguilera CD, and we're gonna put in a fucking show for all these kids." And we did. I don't give a fuck. We're gonna have some goddamn fun out here, like in the fucking dirty desert ass shit. Your bullshit. It was all sand. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And sand.
Oh my goodness.
So
See, and I want to set the record straight because now Liz and I have chit-chatted, and actually we worked together at CC. However, asterisk, we did not know each other, and that is because Liz was an executive fancy pants lady, and she was in the basement in the LRH comm department. So she was super fancy pants, executive, big time lady gal, doing executive things in the LRH branch. For those of you who don't understand what that means, it means she was part of a totally different network, right? Even though she was in the same building as me, working the same hours, sometimes longer, frankly, because she was working on external network celebrity center stuff, big time stuff. I did know her boss very well, Pamela. She and I had a completely different relationship with her boss. Her boss was much nicer to me than she was to Liz. But like we crossed paths very cursorily because of that. Maybe like at Searg Day or Org Awards when we would go to like Disneyland and we'd just be like sprinting through the Disneyland park, going ride to ride and fun things like that. We might have interacted. But other than that, it's weird to say that you worked at the same building as somebody, but you never saw them. And that's totally possible. Aaron can back me up on that. You don't know people everywhere.
I got a question. Liz, did you get shit for the same reason Nora did? Were you one of the Searg members that like everybody knew was gay, but nobody wanted to comment on it because it would be a problem?
There's a good chance of that.
Like Joey Chait, Nora, everyone's like, we're all pretending like this person's not gay, right?
I mean, being realistic, I've always rocked the men's shirt, the sports bra. I'm shocked that I didn't get the whole, hey, you homo?
But like in your ethics, in your ethics interviews,
I don't think anybody was doing that to you. Were they pulling you in all the time, like being like, "Excuse me, madam, where's your husband?"
No.
Were you being told to get married and find a boyfriend?
I was asked, why I didn't talk to a boy that liked me, so I went and talked to him, and they're like, "Well, you're not interested in any men here?" And I'm, no.
Well, to be fair, there weren't that many. Yeah.
It's not the biggest.
And I can't even remember the dude's name. Like, I went and talked to him, and
was it Ben Monahan?
No. It was a black.
Ben got snapped up in about 2 seconds. P.S. He was engaged before he was even off the EPF.
He was engaged to a horse.
But okay, so
he was a farm boy. He liked himself some animals. Mm-hmm.
So there were two brothers that had come in from Africa, and one of them really liked me. And I was just like, okay, let's go talk to him. And all I could think of is, no.
Which one? Are we talking about Wellington?
Are we talking South Africa or Zimbabwe?
Are we talking about Wellington Mutize?
Yeah, the one that worked underneath Tom Davis's wife.
No, that's not Wellington. I know. Are you talking about the real African guys? Like, because Wellington married Heather.
No, they were Like, he kept saying, we just got here from home.
Right.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
mean that joke. Sorry.
no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
That's literally what they said, is what she's just rephrasing what they actually said.
Yeah, they
No.
didn't speak much
No, I
English.
know who you're talking about though. No, yes, I know. And they gave me the eye drops because they wanted to cure my astigmatism with herbs. And they gave me eye drops. I know the two guys. I'm trying to remember their names. And they were from
Yeah, they've got weird names.
not they were from Kenya. Yeah. They arrived from Kenya, and I'm trying to remember. And they tried to like witch doctor my eyes with herbs that almost gave me an infection. Yeah.
Oh, Nora, don't do that. But that's what
All
cures
right.
everything. Some
No, yeah,
drops.
no, but everybody like I tried to cure my astigmatism with TRs too one time. I
Yeah.
remember that I had intended my eyes to be better, and I stopped wearing
Yes,
glasses
Aaron.
for 2 years.
Pick me.
Papa
All right.
It was
he
bad.
says I need to talk.
Let's get back to the goddamn matter
I
at
couldn't
hand
see
here, shall we?
anything, but I
Yeah.
had decided I could see. Guys, this astigmatism is really bad. Don't do that.
Use your TRs.
Okay.
Get your shit together, Nora.
Okay.
No,
Mark wants me to get this shit back on the tracks. Okay. So here we go.
I'm sorry, Liz. We're gonna get back to your real story. We will chit chat about all of our amazing non sequitur stories another time because we could just go all over the place, guys. We have so many stories. Let's get back to your dad. And you got the phone call about him owing, I'm sure, tens of millions of dollars to Scientology.
So real quick, everyone, for the audio quality, Liz is on an iPad, and it's been a little tricky figuring out what mic and what speaker is selected. So we're just doing the best that we can. It's been a wild day. It's been a wild day. Okay. So Liz, you got a phone call about, hey, do you know, have you seen Bob? Are you going to pay his debt? And you're like, Bob Ferris? And they go, click. What is it? With a little bit of the benefit of hindsight here, what is it that was actually going on there? Does it look like your dad had escaped from the int base and they were trying to figure out where he might have gone?
Honestly, I thought they changed their policy for debt collection because I knew I was his kid. My mom had told me that, you know, I could be responsible for either hers or his, you know, and so I honestly thought that they were calling to just collect and that they're going to call me for the rest of my bloody life. And I'm never going to be able to walk away fully from Scientology.
So then you called Claire Headley, right? To verify like, hey, is there something now where you have to pay freeloader debts for dead people? And is that the first time that you found out? Was it from Mark and Claire that they're like,
Yeah.
Dead? Bob Ferris, he's alive. He owes me $5.
Yeah. So that was the whole situation. Claire told me that she knew Bob. She didn't know he had a daughter, which gut wrenched me a little bit. Not gonna lie, I'm a little old to feel this gut wrenched. And then in the process of that, she said, "Let me talk to my husband." She gets back to me, and then suddenly it's, "No, we can't find anything." He, you know, yeah, he was alive in 2005. Like. And then all of a sudden started the whole daughter. I want to see my dad. I want to see my dad. And yeah, I have to get him out, or at least try.
And so how did you guys end up going out to the int base? How did that come together?
So the first time I called and did what are they called? Welfare check. And so I told him, "Look, I'm calling from the county that I'm in. He's in this county. He's at this address. Can you please let me know if my dad is alive or dead?" And sat there by the phone, nothing. I'm thinking, okay. So finally he calls back. He calls back and says, "I talked to the guy at the gate. When I talked to the gentleman at the gate, he saw him previously or the day before. So Bob Ferris is fine." Okay. "Did you see him?" "No, you didn't see him." "Okay." And he's like, "That was the protocol. Just go to the gate and ask if anyone saw him." But didn't give me much other information. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, how am I supposed to find out if he's alive or dead? I suggest you come to the gate and just ask to see him. Okay. Deal.
Invitation
And
accepted.
then,
See, but that's where it gets really fishy for me, honestly, because the Riverside County Sheriff's Office has a long history of dealing with the folks at the Scientology base. And
Mhm.
they know goddamn well you're not going to be able to show up at the gate and ask to see your freaking dad. I just can't even believe
Exactly.
they recommended it. And honestly, you guys published a phone conversation that you recorded with one of the sheriff's deputies. I don't know if it was the same sheriff, but not only did that guy already have a history of dealing with people at the base, he even said that usually in circumstances like this, the base doesn't allow the sheriff's office to speak with the person.
Do you know if he
yeah.
was actually referring to Vicky in that instance, Aaron, or if that was
No.
just
Oh,
the lawyer?
I don't actually know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the
Liz?
fact that he mentioned the lawyer, that was crazy.
for me, listening to that, besides just that part of it,
Right.
It kind of felt like when he said that they don't let me do it for other people, it kind of made me feel like there's more kids trying to find their dads or their moms. And he
That's-
that was, and then that pissed me off. Because
Yeah.
what if there was more of me? And hey, guess what? You might have been told they were dead, but they're alive and kicking and digging ditches.
So what else can you tell us about what happened after the fact? My understanding is that the police have been out there several times now. Social services has been out there a couple times. I heard one time social services was denied access. Social services called the police for the police to come. Is there anything else you can tell us about what sort of follow-up has occurred on this?
So after I went there and was denied entry, basically told that my dad has the option to put a restraining order out on me. We got home and I said, I'm going to call again. I'm going to call another welfare check. We're going to do this again and see if they can see face to face. That officer at least sounded credible. To be completely honest, I was high-fiving myself like a 2-year-old schoolgirl. Yay! And he said he got to talk to my dad. He verified his mother's name, his father's name. I didn't think, I totally spaced that they have that. And he said, I saw him, he has a lazy right eye. Well, I know my dad has a lazy eye. He said that he had 3 handlers with him and that he was in a Golden Era t-shirt. Now, suddenly they weren't saying that I was not his daughter, not his illegitimate daughter. They just verified that it was him. It's face to face. I started to feel a little better, but if he wants to stay in, fine. Then as we're trying to get all the incident reports, I was told there was no incident for the 20th.
That was the first day that you guys went out there?
No, the 20th was actually the guy that I phoned after we came home from Sacramento. Because the officer that we talked to was on June 10th. The phone call where someone went out there was on June 20th. And so that officer seemed nice. He even told me that social services had been there the night before. I again started feeling a little better, like maybe this situation can end. Like we have a solution. But then there was no police report when we asked for stuff. There was no, this is in writing.
Liz, can I ask, just for my own understanding, obviously I understand why the police were called. I don't necessarily know the difference personally, just ignorance on my part. I don't know the difference between what the police are expected to do and what social services is expected to do. What prompted social services going out there?
Basically what had happened was social services went out there because on the trip out there, we had seen some really older men sweeping the cement. Looked like one was riding the lawnmower, and it was hot, like dead ass heat, and they were old. And so because we didn't know what was going on, no one was making contact with us. They're both, my partner and V are both mandated reporters. So they have to report what's going on.
So the
That
mandated
was-
reporter role, those mandated reports, those reports that are mandated, those are reports that go to the police or that go to social services?
That go to social services. So they
Okay, so
reported
that's-
it to social services.
Got it.
That's good.
Oh, and
At
so
least.
then, and help me understand, because again, I'm so ignorant even on what social services exist for, to be perfectly honest. When they go out, so let's say Vanessa or whoever makes that report, social services go out. What's their goal in their visit?
As far as I've been told, and everything that I've ever looked up and read, when they go out there, they are required to be one-on-one with the person. They have to find out if they have medical insurance, if they're being taken care of, if they're being fed. So at that point, I knew they have to find those out. Social services has to find that out when a report is made. And I think I learned that from V. But, you know, if the police are going to do stuff and I'm not feeling confident anymore, we need to do what we need to do, because I just need him out. And if I can't get him out, maybe another parent will listen, and maybe they'll miss their kids and realize that, hey, I'm not really dead, and you can have a mom or dad.
So help me understand this as well. If social services went out there, why have they had to go out multiple times?
If they've had to go out multiple times per the social worker, basically what that means is they go out there by themselves. If they're refused to see the person, they are to inform the local police, local sheriffs, whoever it is. They're to make sure that they see that person face to face, and they will require it by law. So it's kind of like throwing the legal system at them. Prove that he's okay. My dad is one of those guys that if he doesn't eat every 2 hours, he loses weight. His mom had MS. His dad died of brain cancer. Like, he's 73 fucking years old. Like, make sure he's okay. And unfortunately, from the social workers, I don't get to find out if they even met him. They just keep telling me, hey, do you have any more information that you want to report?
So the social workers have not confirmed with you definitively that they have met with him face to face?
Correct. I can only give information to them. They will not give me any information. Now, as I was explained, it's because Bob is not an invalid. I am not his caretaker. I'm not legally responsible for him, so they are not required by law to give me anything.
Okay.
I'm just his kid.
So what will resolution look like? It sounds like they're just gonna. It's this weird balance between they've been keeping you in the loop in a way, but not at all.
They're doing the Tootsie Roll. They're just pretending to hit the ground, and they're bouncing right back without saying a single word.
Do you know, are there any plans for social services to continue visiting? Like, will they get to a point where they will at least be able to tell you we don't need to keep going out anymore? Like,
if they just show me proof.
So what's that?
If they can show me proof, if I can see a picture and then it makes me know that it's really my dad, show me proof of life and something real. You know, you don't have body cams, but yet for some reason you, again, don't have a report either. So, okay, now I'm not even a conspiracy nut, and I feel like it's a conspiracy.
Right. I mean, my real question is, like, 20 years ago, when, like, what I'd like to rewind to just a little bit is the series of events that led up to them telling you he was passed. Right.
Oh, okay.
So, like, how did that come about? Like, you came out to your dad, right? And then what happened after that? How did this happen?
Huh. Oh. So I knew I was gay. I knew it from my swim teacher to one of my math teachers. Oh God, Jamie and HCO. Let's not go there. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just knew it, but I had to hide it. And so I didn't have the balls to tell my mom that I was gay. Not like where you're screaming it to the top of their lungs. Make sure they got it. They kind of heard it, but you can't be gay. It's, it's a phase. And I wanted to tell someone. I wanted to scream that I'm gay and it's okay. Don't hate me. I'm still the same person. So I decided I was going to tell two people. I was going to tell my cousin Felicia, and I was going to tell my dad. My cousin Felicia didn't really like me. Well, to be honest, we were brought up to hate each other. Sorry, Felicia. I don't really hate you, but kind of do. So I wanted someone that I knew to hear me. So then when I called Gold, I got to talk to my dad, and I thought, oh God, what if he tells me that because of that comment that I'm going to have to go to a desert island and it'd be okay if they blew us up? Like, oh shit, did I choose the right person? But then I told him, and I got scared he was suddenly going to tell me how gross I was. And he didn't. He said he had a sister that's gay, made a joke, and then said, okay, I'll talk to you soon. And he even closed it with, I love you. Like, just like any other call he ever made to me. And then shortly after that, I call him because I hadn't heard from him. So I was like, okay, it's about that time to give him a jingle. And the receptionist tells me he's dead.
The receptionist at Gold?
The receptionist at Gold. And I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me? I could go to the funeral. Like,
How long in between the calls was that, Liz?
It was a couple months. Because I called my dad
Okay.
every like 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
And so I didn't think much that I hadn't heard from him in 3 or 4 months, because that's usually our talking span.
Right.
He's in the Sea Org. Don't call every
Yeah.
day, you'll get banned.
Right. Is
And
that how
then
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but is that literally
you're not
how
being a
she
jerk.
said the
That's
words
how I
to you?
was told.
She was just like,
That's
sorry,
how I
he's
was
dead.
told. Just blunt, straightforward. I called my mom. My mom's like, so what? And again, nothing. She didn't say it in a way that was like, so what? It was, sorry for the facial features. That was probably bad. But, she said it in a like, why do you care about your dad anymore? Because that was her whole mentality thing.
Right.
I called my girlfriend at the time, and I couldn't cry, but I was so sad, and I just kept feeling like my lungs were gonna just suck back in.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know why you can't cry. And so we just got super drunk. And I mean, like a case of 24 Coronas, some lime. Sorry if you're not allowed to talk about alcohol, but yeah. And then I spent the rest of the time thinking, when I saw people with dads, at least my dad's away from everything, but it'd be kind of nice if I had a dad to tell me, I love you. But instead, now I'm stuck in this horrible cycle where I feel like I failed him.
And
Well,
so
you
they never
certainly-
gave you anything, no
certainly-
paper, nothing.
Nothing.
And
People
And
ask
we all
me why I
know
didn't
that they
look it
do a
up.
funeral for Sea Org members. They do a ceremony where they tell them you have a 21-year LOA. They do the whole thing. They never told you anything like that happened. Nothing.
No, it was just one of those situations where it was like this giant fucking gut punch. And then I was devastated. And yet again, I still believed in Scientology. I didn't believe in the cans because I had faked it a few times, not going to lie. Sorry, get a little squeeze. Think of a happy thought.
It's
And
okay, Liz. You don't have to worry about that.
sorry, force of habit.
No,
My therapist is
no,
going to
it's
tell
okay.
me something about this. I bet you.
You can say whatever you want.
I still believed the science behind the way to study. I'm blanking on courses, but I know it's the student hack course. Son of a bitch. Finally, I believed in the study part of it.
Yeah.
I believed if you've never seen a tractor, of course you're not going to be able to read a tractor, And yes, I'm about to quote that part from the EPF. I'm sorry, everybody. If if you're going from a small math problem to a large math problem, you weren't going to understand. I believed it all. It worked for me. It helped me in school. And then one day my girlfriend asked me to watch Leah Remini show. And I lost it. Now look at me. I believed, and now, not even a year later, I'm trying to find out if my dad's alive or dead. And now I'm talking on a show and nervous as fuck, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying to...
You're doing great, Liz. I'm glad that people can get to see and fall in love with you.
I just want to know if my dad's okay. And maybe one of the other parents can leave too. I believed up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I love what you and Vanessa said in the part one there. Like, that's my dream too. I would love to get a school bus up there and just put everybody on it and just close that whole fucking place down. And people ask all the time, like, do you hate the people that are there? I mean, Aaron and I joke about Ben Monahan. We'd probably leave him there, but other people, and even Ben could get on the bus. I don't care. But honestly, my dream is for everybody just to leave and literally leave and do whatever it is their heart desires with their life and live happy and not be doing that and not be behind those walls and not be stuck in those stupid buildings and just do anything on their own, of their own free will. I cannot tell you the satisfaction you get when you can wake up whenever you feel like it and go to bed when you feel like it. And if you feel like, you know what, today's a rough day, I think I'm just going to go home early, which is what I did today to come and be here with kids. I told my boss, you know what, I got to go. And they were like, hey, okay. And then I just fucking left. And nobody was like,
hold that thought.
whoa, you got to write a whole
I'm getting
CSW.
time for something.
Oh,
I'm not going anywhere.
No, Liz will be back. But, the freedom to do that and come here and do this and not be told I'm a suppressive person for the whole planet. Wow.
Yeah. Imagine that. Taking care of yourself.
And,
I'm still so troubled. I'm still so troubled by your mom being relatively unfazed about finding out that your dad's been alive.
There's a lot of animosity.
I was going to say, I know a lot of couples in Scientology that were like the most unhappy couple, and they would either stay married or be divorced multiple times. And they ain't no hate like Scientology couple hate because they don't even like each other to begin with. They probably just got married because they were like, hey, we're in the same place at the same time, like my parents. Hey, you doing the Pure F? Hey, let's we're in the C word. Let's get married. Let's hook up.
Didn't your mom have a different reaction to that recording that you played for her?
Oh, the recording, yes.
Why don't you tell that story? What was her reaction to that?
So I played the short. Hopefully everybody can hear me. And my mom was like, I don't want to listen to this. And I was like, you need to listen to this. This is what I'm going through. Okay. So she's sitting in her chair. She listens and she's like, that motherfucker, illegitimate. and starts listing off all these Sea Org members' names and Scientologists that were at my birth.
Tell the people what we're talking about here.
So in the first video, I think, I don't know, I've done a few. Supposedly my father said that he doesn't know who Elizabeth is. I'm an illegitimate child. He's never met me. I'm sorry if it's out of order. That's how it functions in my brain.
You're fine.
And I told the officer that he was at my fucking birth.
So
Yes.
here's one of the things, to go back to some criticism of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Your father's story to the sheriffs has already evolved from, I did not know I had a daughter. She's an illegitimate daughter. To then having to admit, oh, that was a mistake. I take that back. Like, the sheriff's office over there has to be sitting over there going, what in the ever-loving world is going on here? And when you combine that with the fact that the one sheriff admitted to you on that phone call, well, you know, there's a female lawyer over there that we deal with. She was really helpful this time. She let us actually talk to Bob. In other instances like this, they aren't always as helpful. I'm like, this is a normal Tuesday for you guys.
Yeah.
Dealing with these people. This guy can't get his story straight as to whether he knew he had a daughter or not. I just can't understand why the sheriffs aren't more helpful when they can see there is some devious shit going on behind those gates.
And then they said he was writing letters to you.
You know, there was 3 excuses made within I don't know, the videos, I don't know, like a blip in my mind, but 3 excuses. I'm an illegitimate child. And then there was, he knows about me, but he's writing me, and then he doesn't know about me and he's never met me. Again, I might be doing it out of order. But it was 3 ways he's now all of a sudden he's been writing someone named Elizabeth. I'm the only fucking Elizabeth. I'm still cussing. I'm really sorry.
You're okay. Hey, Liz, we can all say fuck really quick if you guys don't want to jump on and say fuck. It's always a good fuck.
No. Let's not dogpile it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's not
save
push
them
it
for the right time.
But Liz, in one of your videos, you actually published, you showed a letter that you got from your dad when it sounded like from the letter that you had expressed a desire to go up to the international base. And he was like, hey, that's wonderful. Here's what you have to do. Let's tell everyone, how old were you when you were told? You were in regular touch with your dad. I want to make sure no one's unclear about this. How old were you when you were told your dad died?
I was 24 years old.
Right. 24 years old.
That letter, because it was in 04, and then so wait a minute, you just asked me how old was I. Okay, I'm sorry, I got confused.
Well, no, I mean, there you go. It's like I didn't want the people to be even remotely confused as to whether you were some long lost kid that maybe he told died in the crib or something. It's like, no, you were in regular touch with your father until you were 24 freaking years old. And the best this guy can come up with is, I didn't know I had a daughter. I'm so shook. I cannot bring myself to have a conversation. I'm having to come to terms with this. Oh my, guys, tell me, for me, this is the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard in Scientology.
When we heard about this, we were talking regularly before. Okay, so me and Liz had been talking for a good month and a half. And then one day she's like, I think my dad might be alive. And I'm reading it at work like, am I fucking losing my mind? Like, did I read that wrong? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is this serious? How is your dad? Wait, he's been deceased for like almost 20 years. And then she's like, well, I reached out because they called asking to pay a free litter debt. And I reached out to Claire to see if that's something they still do. And I'm like, is this some kind of is this a movie? You can't make this kind of, this is nonsense. So then
I'm telling you, Lord of the Flies.
And then do you remember you're like, I think I'm going to go out there. And I was like, yeah, go out there. Like, you better, you deserve to know. And then she's like, do you want to come with me? And I was like, when are you going to go? I'm in a different state. I just didn't have an extra $900 to fly on a plane 3 days later. But I was like, dude, I'm there with you. Like, text me every second. That record every single thing. Because when you're in active, like, trauma, anxiety mode, like, you're going to forget stuff. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So the best part of this story, the best part, can you tell them the funniest shit? Okay. I
don't know if I can tell them the funniest shit, but I do love the fact that my partner started getting scared. She heard the stories with help of my therapist telling her some of the stuff that I'd been through, what my childhood was like, and for the first time ever didn't judge me or tell me, you in a cult? Oh, no, it's not a cult. It's called Scientology. Now I'm like, oh wait, it is a cult. I'm really sorry. But she didn't judge me. She didn't belittle me, make me feel less than human because I grew up a Scientologist. She still loved me.
That unconditional love.
So she had a valid fear about coming with me. Like they would turn her life upside down. So you and I had already been talking and I'm like, wait, I know Vanessa lives in LA.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Vanessa if she knows anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody at all.
Yeah.
And this is where I might have messed up. The police were only going to be called if there was trouble, like screaming in my face. And then unfortunately, I don't do well with someone screaming in my face anymore. So I was thinking that I was going to go to jail. Because someone's going to start screaming and I'm just going to throat punch them and be like, oh, see, it fell.
Mm-hmm. We played it out a few different scenarios just to make sure that we had our heads on straight. I was at home as backup in case I need to call police, bail money, anything. Yeah. Friends that are nearby.
We had
from
friends
other
tracking
people.
our phones.
Right. We had locations turned on everybody. But the best thing is that by the time they got up there, Vanessa's phone, I think, had already died. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not hearing anything. And I'm like, don't get scared. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. Like, don't shit your pants. It's okay. She's got it. They got it. They're plenty capable of doing it. And I'm like, it's probably, maybe they're making some headway. And then I get one text that's like, sorry, my phone died, but the most epic shit happened. Liz popped some psych pill in front of fucking Gold. And like, is that not the best thing? Haha, I can't wait to talk. And I'm like, why? So Liz, why don't you tell them what happened? Because that was the best text I've ever received.
I take anxiety meds now because I have PTS type D, but not Scientology's version of all that shit.
PTS type D. I'm gonna call it that now.
Yep. Whatever it is, but
PTSD.
I get anxiety very bad.
It's PTSD. It took Aaron a second.
God, I love it.
PTS type D.
I told you, Liz.
I love you.
So smart, so freaking funny.
And so my anxiety was driving my heart rate up where I felt like I was going to throw up. And so I took my anxiety medication. I couldn't help it. I knew it was like, there was so much of me like, this is wrong. This is wrong. You're committing a mortal sin. That's like being gay and walking into a church. The whole place is going to set fire. But if I didn't get my anxiety down, it would have been like a scene out of Exorcism, and I'm blowing chunks everywhere. I'm just going to blow chunks in the shape of Bob Ferris.
That would have also been awesome.
That would have been really epic. I think that was still, I think that was just amazing. And they're all laughing at it. They're like, yeah, she sat there right in front of Gold and took her psych pills.
See, doesn't that just prove though? I mean, like, I understand the anxiety of doing that for your anxiety. It's like a whole loop-de-loop. But I mean, like the things that were ingrained in our souls and our like literal like being of like the damage we would do to ourselves, just thinking the thought of seeing a therapist or going for help outside of the church. I mean, the first time I saw a therapist just to do the intake, right, which is like the very first visit where they just ask you the questions, right? That guy looked like Santa Claus, like literal, like a mall Santa with like a real beard and shit. I had a panic attack and he apologized to me. in the interview for sitting between me and the door during the interview. And he was like, "Oh, I can clearly see that you have PTSD." And I was like, "How do you know? How do you?" And he was like, "I can tell that, like you're looking for the exit.
Where's
and
my
like,
exit?
this whole thing."
Right.
Right. And
Yep,
he was like, I was
my
like,
back can't
"How do
face
you
the
know
door.
inside my brain hole?" Like, and I was
Mhm.
freaking out the whole time. And he was like, "I think you should see a lady and not me." And I was like, "I don't know
Good
why you
for
would say
him.
that." Like, sir. So yeah, I mean, like, and the very first migraine medication that was ever given was Pamelor, which is a failed antidepressant, but it's still
Mhm.
classified as an antidepressant. But they only use it for migraines now, and I wasn't taking it as an antidepressant. And I remember I almost threw up the first night I had to take it because I was like, "Now I'm going to be on
So
antidepressants. I'm on an
scared.
illegal PC."
Yeah.
That was the first thought in my brain,
Mhm.
and I was well out of Scientology.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like these stupid
Stays
thoughts
with
that go
you.
through our minds to take something that is helping you,
Right.
that you take it, it calms everything. It's like a shower for your brain canal.
Mhm.
Shoosh. And
Yeah.
we still have these quackadoodle thoughts
Yeah.
that are just like that "we stand tall" earworm, just in there for no purpose other than to keep us trapped. And that is why, like little Aaron's logo behind his head there, that's why what we're doing right now is so powerful, because us doing this, Liz, and you doing the simple thing of literally just little knocky knock and saying, "Hey, you guys called me," by the way. You reached out and touched someone, okay?
Yeah.
And now you're letting me know my dad's actually not dead. And I would like to say hello to him, like literally just, hey, pops, what's up?" And
I hope
that's
it would
it.
be as friendly as that.
But you know what I mean? Like, as somebody who also, like, I was in the Sea Org in '95 when my dad died suddenly of a heart attack, and I did not get to see his body or anything else. That's because of my stepmother, who was also a Scientologist. So I feel, I understand that, of like having that ripped away from you, and like not knowing, not understanding, not getting that
Actually,
closure.
real quick, Liz, while
Right.
Nora's talking, since when you touched your ear, it sounded like you were touching a mic. So while Nora's talking, can you try to see if you select your actual mic, if your audio changes while
On your
Nora's
iPad.
talking?
So I
Yes.
understand what that feels
Okay,
like
hold
when you
on 2
don't
seconds.
have that
No,
closure.
mute yourself while you're doing that, Liz, if you can, unless it's all too complicated on the iPad.
Don't worry about it.
Well, it's not
All
even
right.
giving me that option.
All right, fine. Forget
On the
it.
And
Go
it
iPad.
probably is, but
Go ahead, guys.
We'll figure it out. But when you don't have that, like, opportunity to do that, to work through all those emotions and everything else, and now there's something that may be telling you something else, and then they're trying to do a whole gaslighting operation on you on top of that, to like pretend you weren't a real person now this whole time, or whatever it is, the story they're trying to come up with. Because, what we're doing here, what Aaron's built up, and Mark and Claire and Leah, and, everybody else that came before us too. Let's not forget all those guys, Tori
Yeah.
and Spanky
Yeah.
and Jesse and everybody else who was out here before us talking and are going to continue to talk because they've still been here. Hannah and everybody else, and Kate, who's out here, in that great, all that stuff. We're going to get more and more stuff done, because clearly they are freaking out, and in a good way, because I think this is a glimmer of hope. I know this is painful, Liz. I know this is bringing up a lot of stuff that you've worked through for many years, and now it's like back in your face
at the
again,
surface.
and you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
You're really doing amazing. I know you're having to like reprocess this again.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
it sucks. But
I do
even
have
if
to
it
say
ends
a
up
few
with
things
him,
real quick.
yeah, go.
One, I have to say thank you to Mark and Claire. They've given me hope for a dad. Even if I don't get a dad, at least if someone can get free from this, I'm okay with that hope for a few more minutes. Elise, Vanessa, I know you're not here, Vanessa, but I have to thank them. Aaron, thank you so much for helping me with my dad. Okay, that's what I really wanted to say. Because right now I'm putting my face out there because I just want someone to get a parent back, even if it's not me.
Yeah, absolutely. For the viewers, hit us up with your questions. We've been starring some things that we've been seeing in the chat, but for the next 55 glorious minutes, we're going to answer questions. In the regular chat, just try to preface your question with the word question in all caps. It helps us find them. Nora, if you want to help me, Nora and Alicia, if you want to help me select questions.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
There's some I'm specifically saving for the very end. Anyway, here we go. Miss Vicky May, how are you still in and you have a freeloader debt? Miss Vicky, that's why this story is so insane. You don't have a freeloader debt if you're still in. And I think something that we haven't mentioned in this chat so far is that when Liz told her mom about this phone call, her mom told her that her mom received a similar call about 10 years ago. Hey, have you seen Bob? You're going to pay his freeloader debt. And it seems this is why we believe Bob has tried to escape from the international base a couple times and managed to actually escape. I don't know. Maybe they hunted him down walking down the freeway or something. Like, who knows? But like, there's when someone escapes, they start the blow drill, and the blow drill is trying to figure out where the hell someone went. And one of the most clever ways to do that, other than tracking credit card activity and everything like that, is you contact the family members. Now, if you're contacting a Scientologist, it's a clever way to find out if he blew if he blew and went to that family member, because then that family member knows this person has now left. And by saying, are you going to pay the freeloader debt? That sort of it assumes that you know that the person just left the Sea Org. And if they say, what are you talking about? Then you're like, okay, guess you didn't go there. Click.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that answers that question. This is one we should tackle. Social services cannot go onto a property without a warrant if the property is gated and or if occupants refuse. I'm curious about this. This doesn't seem to me to be true if you're asking someone to verify the welfare of a senior citizen. I don't think Golden Era Productions can refuse to let social services onto the property. Liz, what's your take on this? Because clearly they did get onto the property, right?
As far as I know, I mean, I didn't personally witness it, but again, per the nice corporal, can I say his name or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so per nice Corporal Miller, who seemed like he gave a shit, they had been there the night before with social services. So that's all I knew. I'm not hunting the gate. I'm not, good Lord, I'm 400 miles away. I'm going off hearsay right now. It's not a court of law.
Right.
Sorry, I hope that helps without me being a jackass.
Yeah. I would imagine it'd have to be like a traffic stop. You know what I mean? You can't do a traffic stop over the phone. You know, you have to verify credentials.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not a law enforcement person, so I don't know.
Check this out, guys. Miss Kim, you want to kick the ant's nest? Report to Social Security that you were told he was dead. They'll be all over that. Thank you for your
That's
story.
true. They'll want that money back with it. And it's, in a heartbeat.
With the quickness.
Yeah. If they they might not report it.
Hey, that's the next legal course we could go. We've done 2. Let's add some more. I'm okay with that. You can show me my goldenrod after I find out if he's alive or dead.
There you go.
All right. Little Mighty says, or else they wanted her to think he blew. It's almost like it was a mistake and somebody in admin got him mixed up with another aging slave. Well, why would they want someone to think that he's not dead? He's actually blown.
That's worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it shows that they lied. So
Right.
I mean,
Either
Scientology, it keeps getting bad. It's always worse than what you think it is.
Is it possible that someone else? Go ahead.
Well, the truth is it was a mistake because they never would have made that phone call if they knew that the shore story was that he was dead.
Yeah. And maybe because it's been going on for so long, whoever was handling this case now didn't know that they already lied and said he was deceased.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Is there a fourth voice? Is there someone talking in the background?
Sorry, that's I'll mute myself. It's my daughter.
Okay. Let me see here. Just going through them. Mark Headley says, Liz, tell them about the whistle call that he used to do when you were a kid and what happened at the base when you were there. What is this?
I love that. Thank you so much. So when I was a kid, obviously Lord of the Flies, there wasn't if you weren't in the cadet academy, you had zero supervision. Sorry. Or you went to stands and got your ass kicked. So whenever I wanted to see my mom, she worked on the 4th floor of the building on the far left corner. And so the trees originally out front AOLA used to go past her window. So I, like a jackass, and thinking that I am Tarzan, climbed all the way to the 4th floor so that I could see my mom. I thought it was the easiest way because reception would say she's not here or busy, but going up to the window, she cared real quick. But my dad, whenever he'd catch me in the tree, he'd whistle twice. 2 whistles, precisely one after the other. And it's a funny thing to remember, but I remember those 2 whistles because he caught me a lot in the tree. And so when we were at Gold Base and they were ushering us to leave, 2 whistles rang out. I didn't start it, just 2 whistles rang out, sorry. I whistled back, 2 whistles. And they whistled back again.
And other people with them heard. Everybody there heard.
Everybody that was with us heard before I said a fucking word. Before I said a dirty word. God, I can't see when it's
so the thought is that maybe he is there and saw that they were there because they were there for what, it was almost 2 hours, Liz?
I think we were there for almost 3. I don't know. White girl don't tan. 5 minutes feels like an hour.
So they were there for a long time. And out of nowhere, they hear whistles. Everybody with them. Everybody heard them. And they were distinct. And they weren't the birds chirping.
No, it was an actual whistle. And so it was, for me in that moment as his kid, all I could think of is he does want me here. He's here. I'm going to get him out. I'm going to throw him in my car. He's what, $130? Firemen carry his bitch ass out. He's alive. And it felt so validating in the moment because it's like you couldn't wait to hear those 2 whistles ever again. Your dad calls your name. Your dad says, of course, he's not going to call me what you guys all see. It's going to be an Elizabeth. Thank you so very much. My mom and dad are really the only 2 people that have ever called me Elizabeth. But it wasn't until a conversation with you, Nora, that I realized I want to hear him say my name too. I just want to hear my dad say my name. And not in the say my name bitch type of way, but in just say my name as my dad.
What we have to comment on here is that if he was back there saying, I want to talk to her, they would not let him. There's no question about that. He doesn't have a choice. That's why it really kills me that there's no way to know whether social services has been able to meet with him alone. I guarantee you they've not been able to meet with him alone. I guarantee you. And that was the same problem with Shelley Miscavige, honestly. Isn't whether anyone was able to speak to her, it's whether anyone was able to speak to her alone. Mm-hmm. These people are in a prison of belief. He's been in this prison for, well, how long has he been there? 30 years, 40 years? How long has it been?
In the Sea Org, 40 years. 40 in years. Scientology, an additional, I think it's either 10 or 7. He was working as mission staff at San Francisco.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, because if he was just operating on his own determinism, doing what he wanted to do, and if he really didn't want to see you or whatever, There's no reason in the world, especially a Scientologist who's trained to confront and shatter suppression and confront everything. He could walk out that gate and say, "You're dead to me," and walk back in, and the issue would be settled. No more police, no more social services, no more drama, no more anything. He could do that. The fact that we're seeing all this other bullshit is what it looks like when someone is being controlled and manipulated by this suppressive organization. So I wouldn't even doubt if he was back there wanting to at least talk to you. And they're like, the hell you are. Get back inside, you know? So I hope social services, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what rules they have to follow. I don't even know what the possible outcomes are here. That's kind of like, for me, it's killing me. Like, what are the possible outcomes? Because even if Bob said, "Hey, I want to leave the Sea Org," they're not going to be like, "Okay, great, see ya." They're going to make him spend 6 to 12 months routing out. And someone that old, that infirm or whatever, it's not like he can jump the gate.
Yeah, he's not going to Roger Rabbit like we're Bugs Bunny down, 30-mile road at 73 years old. Like, it's not a hop, skip, and a fart. It's literally like, these are miles that he would have to walk at 73 years old.
Yeah.
Sorry, my voice dipped. This sucks.
If I could do this, Liz, I would. I can't.
We're offering our
I had to
tissues.
get
We're holding your hand. We're here with you. You're doing so good. You're kicking ass. I'm always so excited.
Next
to
question.
talk to you.
Yeah.
Next question, Mr. Aaron.
Lori plays, Liz, if I was a dude, I'd happily be your stand-in dad until you get Bob back. Big hugs.
Thank you.
That's nice, Lori. Let's see. Deborah Bunka. Why can't social services and the cops go in there and say, anyone who wants to go, come with us now? It's unbelievable that people can be held against their will in this day and age. Yeah.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, can I answer that one, Aaron?
of course.
It's not against their will in some situations, though.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think that some people are so indoctrinated that this is the belief we're saving the world. I know I've been there. I know each and every person has been there. Mm-hmm. They think they're saving the world because they bought it hook, line, and sinker. And some of them may want to go, but some of them are hooked. And for those of them that want to leave, they're sure as fuck not telling anybody that doesn't want to leave because they're scared of the repercussions.
Definitely.
So would I love to drive a bus on the property? Oh, God, that sounded really bad. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be very gentle. That's a dream in my head. In my dream, would I drive a bus onto the property and go swoop up my dad and every person there? Absolutely.
Yep.
We
And
didn't
then
picture
they
that
all
like a
have to go
Rambo
to
moment, Liz.
deprogramming.
That was a gentle bus drive. You were just,
It was gentle.
just cruising onto the property and opening the doors lightly and inviting people nicely onto the bus. That wasn't a destructive.
It was a
moment.
dream. Just be happy.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. I feel bad. I have to respond to this question. I asked the question before the show began. Did you miss it? Audrey, here's the problem. It is not possible for us to go back and find the question you're referring to. So unfortunately, you wasted a super chat. I'm sorry.
But if you just ask it as a regular question in the chat, Alicia and I are looking for questions. We will star it.
Okay,
we will star
awesome. Awesome. Erica M, if Bob is still at the base, why are they trying to collect a free letter debt? This has been bothering me. Erica M, you must have just joined. It was just our best guess is that it was just a ruse to find that he had blown, and they were trying to find out if he had escaped and gone to any of his family members, and they just didn't realize that his family members thought he was dead. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. There is Silver Dragon wants to know, Alicia, is that a volcano in your backdrop, or are you just happy to see me? No, I'm just kidding. Is that a volcano in your backdrop? It is a beautiful picture. Did you paint it yourself?
No, Vanessa is awesome, and she downloaded it, so that is our background because we're the Integrated Daughters of Dianetics. So she thought it was fitting. So
I'm gonna have a little fun in the live chat here. For all 2,300 people watching live, if you believe that Alicia actually has a Shure MV7 microphone plugged in and functioning, put a 1 in the chat. if you believe that Alicia has not figured out why her microphone isn't working, but secretly thinks that it is working, but is wrong, put a 2 in the chat.
I'm showing it. I'm showing my equipment, guys.
I have tried to tell
it's not
Alicia there
working,
is
Alicia.
no way that microphone is
It's
plugged
not,
in.
it's not on, honey. You're talking through your computer right now.
I'm sorry. I don't know. It says it's connected to that. I'm sorry.
I'm just having fun with the live
You're
chat.
awesome.
I like
love
that Aaron's busting my balls over here. My first time, and this fucker's over here busting chops. It's cool. We're born and raised Scientologists, so we got thick skin and we can take that.
The reason I'm having so much fun with
Okay.
this is last week I was watching one of the videos that Alicia and Vanessa did, and I was talking to Vanessa for something unrelated, and I'm like, oh, hey, you guys got to get Alicia a microphone. And she goes, Alicia has a microphone. I go, oh, it's not plugged in. It's not plugged in.
I know, and I'm like, it's plugged in, and I checked every setting, and it said sure, and I'm like,
Oh my God. I'm just having fun.
We'll
I'm
figure
just
it
having
out.
fun.
No worries.
Okay.
We got you later.
Aaron,
Next.
you're a new troll. I'm not used to you trolling me. I mean, gosh,
No, I'm telling you, every time we do
he's a lot easier. I'm a troll.
Oh my God. Okay, free Xenu project. Does a cop have a simple question? Why does a member of a church have 2 handlers? Yeah, I mean, there's no way these police don't realize that every time they go to meet with someone, it's always in the presence of 1 or 2 other people.
Yeah.
But on some level, let's acknowledge that if we're talking about adults, the police have limited powers here. Like, what are the, like, honestly, like, because let's say the police go in, right? And the police go, hey, we want to talk to Bob Ferris alone. And Bob Ferris says, no, I want this person here, because that's what he's been told to say.
Right.
Mhm.
The police can't fucking do anything about it. And that's what happened when they went to go see Heber. Heber was there with his nurse. Heber didn't have a nurse. It's probably just, right? I mean, Heber's in a nursing home now, but
I mean, yeah. The extent that they go to knows no end. When my ex-husband's father died, he was sent to his father's funeral with 2 friends that were not his current wife or anybody that his family had ever known, because he was on the RPF at the time. He had to go with friends, okay, which was disgusting, to his father's funeral. And when I was at the hospital during my attempted suicide and leaving, I was there with my cousin, Tarl Kuhn, who looks like, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, person, totally related to me, obviously. My cousin in full Class A uniform in the back of a hospital with me. My cousin, Tarl. Yeah, it's completely ridiculous, these stories that we tell authorities, because we're forced to make up stories for people around us. And the doctor asked me 4 times, this is your cousin? I was like, oh, yeah, it's my cousin. That guy. Yeah.
that's crazy.
So
When I went to my brother's funeral, I was in the Sea Org, and he had been declared a suppressive person when by the time he died. And they spent a lot of time telling me I shouldn't go to the funeral. But by the time it was clear that I was going to go anyway, they actually let me go by myself. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but you were an executive in good standing, Aaron.
Well, so was Shelley.
And the rest of your family weren't Scientologists, right?
Correct. None of them were Scientologists.
Yeah, and so nobody in your family were Scientologists. So it wasn't like, you weren't a DB like me on the RPF, like.
Oh, you were on the RPF. That's a big difference.
I was on the RPF. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a criminal. So, yeah.
Okay, Liz, this question is for Liz. N8 Miniatures. Liz, you're so brave. What comics cards do you collect?
I had to put something in the background that was me, something that brightened my day, I guess. So Green Lantern's my favorite. I would have had Harry Potter, but unfortunately, living in their own separate world, I connect with that book very, very much so. I'm like 5 years old. We'll just say okay. And then with Pokemon, Mewtwo is my favorite. Mewtwo is my absolute favorite.
Nice. Joylene Harris says, yikes. a family member hid my dad for 5 days. Oh, just before he died. Oh my God, I thought it said something else. I thought she was like, my dad died and my family member hid the body for 5 days. Okay. I thought.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the visual. Appreciate it.
This show just took a turn. Holy cannolis.
Guys, it doesn't start in 5 days. It's okay. As long as it's not too
we
hot.
just went on to
Keep your
Unsolved
AC on.
Mysteries.
No,
I
because
mean,
if
you
it
are in
drowns, you got a
Florida.
floater and they expand with an amazing smell.
5-day rule.
Science is
Guys,
amazing.
I just gotta tell you, we have really dark sense of humor because we have been through hell. So almost nothing is really off limits in a lot of ways. I carry my mom's ashes that she didn't want me to have, and I stole them. So we're all a bunch of DBs over here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, I don't believe in anything, but this was my Nana's. So I have to wear it. And
Yeah.
I'll never take it off.
You got a Nana, I got a Nana. We got our Nanas up there watching over us. Did your Nana hate Scientology too?
More than she hated other people because she was born in 1906.
Well, here's one for all the Nanas up there that hate Scientology and humans.
Boom. Go
You know.
Nanas.
Yeah.
Thanks. We love you, Nanas.
Yeah, my Nana was unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Tina Romero. Off topic, but what happened to Jenna Miscavige Hill? Her book threw me down a rabbit hole.
She's
Jenna's
just
around.
living.
I hear I haven't heard from her in a long time, but I hear from people who hear from her. Well, because I talked to Sterling, and Sterling is like her half brother, right? Or
I
half
hear
cousin.
from her husband all the time. They're doing great. They're just living their life, raising their kids. They're thriving. They're doing great.
They're just living their everyday fantasy of not being
She's
told what
just
to
raising
do.
her, she's just
I
being a
love it.
mom.
I love
raising
her
her
book,
kids.
by the way. If anybody hasn't read that, read it. And Audible, you hear it in her voice. It's amazing. Top tier.
I haven't thought about this until just now, but if Jenna Miscavige started a YouTube channel, that shit would be on fire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A fire.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they
We'd
would
give
be
up our
so
volcano
talk about
background for
getting
that.
scared.
What'd you say, Alicia?
If Jenna was just like, "Hey guys, it's me," like, because also she's just like a little tiny ball of light and sunshine and like loveliness, like, it would just really freak them out because she just the way she tells
Mhm.
stories is just like, so one day.
We would love it.
Yeah, I give you guys mad props for doing the YouTube thing, but I'm full of spit, vinegar, and a whole lot of bad words, followed by
Me
some
too.
rock
Liz,
We're
star.
gonna go on tour
Liz,
together.
it's
We're gonna do
good.
our comedy tour.
Same. You just mute yourself. Like I just had to start muting myself because I was like, I'm gonna let
People can
somebody-
read lips, and I really don't want to be. If I'm gonna cuss, might as well get caught fully.
That's true. That's what I say too. Like the sugar-free
Good.
stuff, just do it. Just do it all the way. Don't half-ass it.
Yep.
Get all your potty words
Go
out.
ahead, Aaron.
YouTube does not have a rule against cursing. I've only stopped cursing because so much of the YouTube audience, depending on how you built up your audience, is very offended by the profanity.
That's true.
After 5, 10, whatever minutes into a video, you can curse, you can say all sorts of stuff. Don't let that be the reason you don't do a YouTube channel, for the love of Jesus. People are gonna be pissed off that I just said Jesus. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, but
there's zero
out
people
here,
you
people
can't
look at you
offend.
differently.
That's the truth.
I was just gonna say, and we're so used to and desensitized to so many things. I mean, I was cursing at like 3 years old.
People tell me every
It's
day
not
that I have
good.
to turn my camera side to side. Thanks, Mark.
So, but you guys, I mean,
I'm kidding, Mark. I love you.
I'm preaching to the choir here, but in Scientology, profanity is so accepted.
Common.
Using the F word is a preposition. It's a conjunction. It's a verb. It's a noun.
It's a way
an
to get things done too.
Hold on.
It's a modifier.
It's everything. So after one of my first jobs after I left the Sea Org was working at one of these Scientology business consulting companies. And one of the companies that I ended up consulting was this large physical therapy company in South Carolina. Well, that's like Bible Belt area, right?
Oh God.
That company hired me away from the consulting company to help them, with some stuff in their clinics. So I'm doing like in services. I'm doing like training seminars. Liz, you have your earphones selected as microphones.
Yeah, because you touch it.
I've tried to change it like 6 times. I'm so sorry, but it was falling out.
Oh, okay,
I apologize.
Just let it fall out next time.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to hold it in.
We stand tall, Aaron.
Oh my God, my
Get
ears
your
just blew up.
shit together. Blown
Anyway,
for good has a whole new meaning today. Okay, your eardrums
Anyway.
are now blown for
Oh
good.
dear God.
I'm doing these little services. I'm standing up there. We got like 30 staff members here. It's a lunch hour, and I'm dropping F-bombs like they're freaking hot dogs at a baseball game. And everyone's horrified at me. That was probably my first introduction that some people don't like it when you just casually say fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, geez, I don't know.
It takes
Loosen
a
up.
lot. It takes a lot of work to stop doing it. I stopped when I was pregnant with my daughter because I was like, I can't have her like cussing like I was. We got to do better. But now that they're teens, I'm like, you guys make me cuss. Like, y'all are the reason I'm losing my shit every day.
Do you want to know what's funny? We swear around our kids, but our kids do not swear.
Oh, well, you got good ones.
No,
then,
my kids don't. They're trying to start swearing now, and I put the kibosh on it because first of all, they use it completely inappropriately.
Yeah.
They're not good at the swearing. They're at all this vocabulary now, and they don't spell correctly in the texting with the lowercase and the things. I'm such a Gen Xer. I'm so old. But also, like my mom, surprisingly, as a Scientologist, swore like a goddamn sailor all the time. But she had one rule: fuck was banned in the house. We were not allowed to say fuck in the house. But we got into an epic fight once about something where we were cursing at each other back and forth. And I forget even what it was about, something. And I said, you know what? You're being a fucking bitch. And she said, don't say fuck. That was her comeback to me.
Don't say fuck.
That was the only thing she was mad about because I said fuck.
That's so funny.
And I was like 16 at the time.
That's how you know
what I got in trouble for.
You're in a Scientologist family because that was the one. Like,
right.
Okay, so
that's beautiful.
There's something Mark said here that I was also reminded when Alicia said degraded beings a few minutes ago. So you've got here, I'll hide this for a second. So you're the degraded daughters of Dianetics. Somebody could start a channel, the degraded beings of Scientology or something.
That'd be good.
And then Mark's got the SPDgens, the suppressive, the
degenerates. Yeah, I love it.
Mark says Jenna Miscavige is David Miscavige's niece, and SPT Scott says, just curious, is Jenna smaller than her uncle? I don't think so.
I think she's taller.
The same height. She might be taller, actually.
Yep. Jenna's small, and she's probably bigger than Dave. Yeah. My 12-year-old daughter is bigger than Dave.
All my kids are taller than David Miscavige.
Yeah.
And I'm not that tall.
What about
my kids are taller than me?
I saw your dog. Is your dog taller too? Yeah, I saw that cute little
my dog is taller. My dog is like so. Aaron's dog.
There's so many comments that I want to make, like, and they're all about the gay and things like that. But
I've met toddlers bigger than David Miscavige. I mean,
and you just might as well talk about the arm that's looks like a toddler.
All right, here's one. Polish Texan guy. Stanley Kubrick's daughter, Vivian, became a Scientologist in 1998.
Yes, she did.
Did Tom Cruise have any part in that? Do we know? That's around Eyes Wide Shut. I've never heard much about Vivian. What's the deal here?
I word cleared her many, many times at Celebrity Center. She is cuckoo, cuckoo, wackadoodle, badoodles, just like her dad.
Did she ever mention whether Tom? Did she ever mention whether
nothing? 0% to do with that. She just wandered in the building. She's just a wackadoodle, good cuckoo. That's how it happened. I don't fucking know. I think maybe I honestly, I have no idea how she got in. I just know I word cleared her a lot, and she liked to talk about her dad ad nauseum. Barfadoodles. Yeah.
Her dad must have been horrified that she joined.
I'm sure he was, but he died. So, yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Also, like, who does a movie where people are actually having sex and somehow it doesn't get rated X, and then we're all forced to go watch that? Okay, the most prominent Scientologists on the planet actually have sex with his wife on screen, and that's okay. That was a-okay. Let's go get everybody to watch that. That's art.
I just had a really hard time with the fact that we had to go watch a movie about Sykes. That's all.
About what?
About Sykes. So, like, the whole movie and what their profession is in Eyes Wide Shut. I hated that.
Yeah, no, but Stanley Kubrick had Tom and Nicole actually have sex in that movie. That's real sex. That's not simulated sex. They didn't have a merkin on. They didn't. They did it for real in
They
that
were
Who
movie.
said
all
that? I've never heard that. Who said that?
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh yeah,
What?
no,
It's a-
that's them.
So hold on. Someone
Down,
saying.
down. Yeah, that is real pee in her VV.
Whoa.
Where has that ever been reported? I've never
You
heard
didn't
that.
know-
It's
Come on, you guys.
you
See,
keep
okay,
saying you
I
didn't
am an.
know.
I have a movie.
I'm asking you,
I am a
where have
movie
you heard
pla-
that?
Look up the facts about the movie. That is
All right,
Stanley
let me pull it
Kubrick
up.
is
Hold on.
known for
Eyes
Hold on,
wide
hold on,
shut,
hold on.
Wikipedia.org. No,
We're Googling it.
I'm not
any
Yeah, but
Googling
you guys
shit.
Google
movie
it,
Stanley
and
Kubrick does. He pushes the actors beyond the breaking point. The only exception he ever made is during The Shining, the children, like the young child who played the young boy in The Shining and the girls who played the Creepadoodle twins, he had them in separate areas during The Shining because he didn't want to like scar them for life somehow during the making of the film. So he did protect like their innocence and stuff. But like Jack Nicholson and the rest of the cast, he absolutely terrorized because he wanted their terror to be palpable on the screen. In the same
All
way,
right,
he
cool.
wanted this sex between Tom and Nicole to be palpable
Awesome.
and for you to feel it.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Okay. Up Mayo says, please will you give a shout out to Children of Scientology
Somebody said
channel
it was debunked.
podcast?
I don't think so. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. Huge shout out. We love that.
Huge shout out
podcast.
to Children of Scientology.
We love
Yes.
that podcast. Go
And
watch.
And
Go
their
listen.
whole website, everything.
Their website. Yeah, some of us SPs are even on there.
And I saw, who is it that created that YouTube short promoting the channel?
I don't know.
It was
I-
No, it's awesome.
fucking incredible.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think maybe Christy, Victoria, one of these amazing, beautiful, intelligent human
think so.
beings
We
that
have
is
to find out.
just
They did such a good job.
amazing. I know. Like seriously good. And I think Vanessa asked them to make that to add into the end of the video that she was putting up for Liz. I don't know if they were making it anyway or if she asked them to do a little something and then they just did that. And it was phenomenal.
It was incredible.
They are phenomenal people. Just
Yeah.
we love you guys. So.
Alicia, have you seen a comment from Vanessa in the chat? If someone sees a comment, Vanessa said she has got a comment in the chat. She wants
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and just
I'm putting it up. I think this is it.
Degraded daughters of Dianetics. Liz saying PTS type D shows how very deeply indoctrinated we are. I think she meant CPTSD. Well, I think she was kidding, Vanessa. She says I'm her translator, so I'm just throwing it out there. PTS is just a slip of the tongue. You were kidding, right, Liz?
I started off as kidding, but no, I really started thinking about the PTSD course. Sorry.
No, but I like that it's PTS type D, but I think you did mean
That's
CPTSD, which stands for complex PTSD.
Post-traumatic
Yeah,
stress
that is
disorder.
that is the real thing, which I also have, Liz. So we are Wonder Twins. But yes, I do like saying for the Scientology and ex-Scientology community, we can just declare ourselves PTS type D from now on. That is the funny way to do it for the inside crew. But CPTSD is how the outside world knows it.
It really is hilarious to say you
It's
have
great.
PTSD and it's PTS type D. I absolutely love it.
That's pretty brilliant.
So, by the way, Children of Scientology is available on podcast, but guys, look up on YouTube, Children of Scientology. I'm afraid this is one of those things where the search engine optimization is such that if you search this in YouTube, you might have trouble actually finding it. So let me test it out. Children of Scientology. Let's see what comes up. Oh, boom. #1 result. Bam.
I think they've been putting a few things up because now they're putting up their podcast, I think, on there too. Their latest podcast has Claire on it, and it is amazing. Amazing. I just listened to it yesterday.
I keep doing the thumbs up, 7-up, but yeah.
Okay, so let me let me just show everyone. So this is what it looks like, guys.
Are just
I don't want to. Oh gosh, darn it!
Bodies.
Stop it! Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
That was the trailer I made 10 million years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play it. I was just trying to make sure everyone can see it. I've probably accomplished that, but my trackpad doesn't want to cooperate with me. I'm trying to zoom in
I'm gonna
without
get you a
any
mouse one day, Aaron.
Son of a
you need
bitch.
Can we do a GoFundMe for Aaron's mouse?
No,
Yeah.
I have a mouse. It's just I don't know how to zoom in with a mouse on a Mac keyboard.
I
So,
think
like,
you've got a mouse like I've got a
You
Shure
you
mic.
gotta get one like this that has the
No.
the little
I've got-
rolling thing.
Nora, you're
Then
just
you use
better at
that.
that than he is.
How do you zoom in? I've got a
Is it-
rolly bar, but it doesn't.
Sorry, I was trying to behave, Nora.
Anyway,
Sorry, Liz and I
Guys.
just died. Sorry.
are you guys being disgusting?
Yes.
9 out of 10, that's a yes.
We're both grounded.
Next question.
Aaron.
All right.
Keep this train a moving.
12-year-old laugh. That was amazing.
Oh,
Now,
Aaron and I just reverted to teenagers.
maybe we're making
back
him
being-
blush.
and now my browser is so
I told you it'd be
completely
fun, Liz. See, we have to
screwed up.
pepper
This
it
is
with
good.
humor every once in a while. Otherwise, it gets too serious.
All right, let's
Yeah,
see.
I just want to make
see.
sure we also answer all the questions.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
distracting.
hold on, guys. I'm
Yes.
going to reload this window and see what happens. If I lose you, I lose you.
Wow.
Hang on. No,
Lost
he'll
us.
come back. Don't worry. You didn't. It's just a ladies' show now.
Oh,
It's
in
ladies'
this
night.
live and in a billion after, he'll be back.
Yeah, that was like the
Here
best
he
joke
comes.
ever.
And there's Aaron. He's back. See?
There he is.
Okay, I had to
Anyway,
do
like
that.
I was saying, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's see. There's some ones we got to tackle here. Ms. Kim,
Yeah.
am I on the bottom right for everybody now, or is it just me?
Yes.
Yep, you're on the bottom right.
Jinkui. Okay, Miss Kim says, I'm a Christian, but being around the army for 30 years, it's impossible not to curse. I'm careful around church, but otherwise sound like a soldier. Oh, Miss Kim.
All right.
Miss Kim's
Mm.
invited to the
Filthy
picnic.
mouth.
But
Okay.
a pure heart.
CG Paul SLP. That's how I'm going with that one. Coming in late here. Did anyone ever ask for a burial site to go and pay respects? There is no burial site because he didn't die. So
Correct, but I always
yeah.
assumed that he was buried at Gold. Like that was my assumption,
Mm.
because my mom said that they can. So
Interesting.
I
Did
really
he have
thought he
burial
was.
plots there?
Not that I know of now, but
Oh,
back
okay.
then, my mom telling me that there made it sound like she knew that there was a site there, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll get to go again one day and see my dad.
your mom said that she knew there were burial sites at Int?
She didn't. She said that maybe he was buried under the tree out there. That's all she said.
Your mom is
that
so
where-
full of shit.
Like,
Oh,
I
there's
need
no
to take
burial.
your mom
No.
out in the parking lot. I'm for
No
real.
Sea Org member ever would have thought that
No.
anyone was ever buried at Int. Ever.
No.
Your mom is
Okay.
fucking lying to you. I'm sorry. We gotta talk to her.
I'm trying.
No. Don't.
Listen,
don't-
it's hard when they're that indoctrinated. It is
Of course.
hard.
And
I
and your
mean-
mom might just be trying to tell you something because
Just to
she's gonna
smooth it
go blow a
over.
gasket somewhere else or something. You know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah.
listen, our moms are the same. They're from the same generation, and they're like, I'm just saying, like, Aaron, all of our moms are the same. They're in the same boat. They're in the same belief category. They're in the same generation. They're in the same, like, and they, they have epically blown a gasket privately, publicly, in other realms, and then the first thing that comes out of their mouth may not be the exact thing that they're gonna say, but
All right.
that
All right.
this Liz, here's the thing we're getting the truth. We're getting to the actual
Yeah.
truth, and we're all on the same journey with you, and we're gonna make sure that you get to the truth.
So there's nobody. There's not like a little.
No.
Okay.
And also, a lot of
And also, let's be
Scientologists
real.
are
How many
cremated, so
Scientologists
they
do we
don't
know that
necessarily
are
need to be
buried?
buried.
How
Not
many
very
Scientologists
many,
do we
that's
know
the
that are
point.
buried?
Most of them are cremated. That's
Cremated.
the whole Scientology thing. Now, if you're
They're-
extra special, like my mom, you could be cremated and then buried. Why does that
They're-
make sense?
They're all cremated. No Scientologists
Yeah.
get buried. Yeah.
Well, my mom's cremated and then buried her ashes, which I thought was weird. So I might go dig them up. That's whatever. I just
My
don't.
mom wants me to have her cremated.
It's a
Right now, I'm
Scientology
tempted to-
thing.
Right now, I'm tempted to just leave her in a corpse and put her in a coffin, and
Leave her there, locked in the body forever.
I'll bury you right next to your mother.
One thing that's become a little popular among Scientologists is doing the thing where, and I don't want to get the sequence here wrong. I think you do the cremation. You have the ashes, and then you put the ashes and you grow a tree over it, so it like
Mhm.
turns into a plant. That kind of
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, if they were going to bury someone at Int, L. Ron Hubbard would be buried up there.
Right.
He's cremated. Yeah.
I'm really sorry she said that to you, Liz. I'm really sorry that was some weird piece of information that she told you.
Yeah, but I guess it was my dumbass for believing it, you know?
No, listen to me right now. You're not dumb for thinking one day you would be able to sit in a spot and talk to your dad. Okay? That's not dumb. I don't have anywhere to do that. My dad's ashes went to the middle of the ocean. So I go to the beach to talk to my dad. Okay? So it's not dumb to want that space at all. Okay? But the truth is that your dad exists in this space for real. You heard the whistle. You whistled back. That's real.
Oh, he's there for sure.
Don't go on a loop of other stuff, because that's all we're discovering. That's not real right now. Okay. And we're going to get to the bottom of all of these things. It's so much. It's so much.
It's layers.
Okay. It is so much. And I know it's hard too, because you have to deal with your mom, who is alive. And this is a lot of complicated BS with her too to deal with. Okay. That's a whole other bag of chips relationship that I'm sure has been really, really hard also, as we all have to deal with that too. Like the four of us here could just do 5 hours.
I was going to say, we can talk after. I got some stuff. I don't want to put it online.
You know,
not
what I mean?
There possibly another question.
Okay. But in regards to your dad, which is the focus of tonight, we have a lot of hope. Okay.
I'm holding on to that.
And I'm holding on to it.
We all are.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to say, I'm pretty optimistic that your father is going to wind up out of this Sea Org. I really feel, and you guys, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. When I was at PAC, Nora, you knew, is it Tom, Kim Ford and her husband?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Kim and George.
Long-term Sea Org members.
Oh, yeah.
Once, and one of them had a declared parent who had started speaking to the media. And so they were labeled an attacker. Once their family members started speaking to the press, Kim and George were, get the hell out of here. They were made to leave the Sea Org, even though they were considered very valuable long-term Sea Org members.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen this selectively applied where they, they haven't let Mike Rinder's son leave the Sea Org, even though he wanted to leave. And Mike's an attacker. So I'm saying they selectively decide who they will make go and who they will refuse to let go. But I really get the opinion. I really get the feeling that they're getting to a point where they're like, for the same reason they got rid of the RPF, they're like, look, we don't need this much trouble. We don't need all these headaches. I really feel like they're getting to the point where they're like, let's not hold on to the Sea Org members that there's like international manhunts for. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. By the time someone starts trending, hashtag where is Bob Ferris? I mean, he's 72 or 3 years old. What could he possibly be doing up there at this point that's so valuable that they're like, no, we've got to hold on to Bob Ferris, And the truth is, if they let him go, they're gonna give him money. They're gonna set him up because they don't want him to land in the hands of the Aftermath Foundation. So if they let him go, they're gonna let him go with some sort of we'll call it a bronze parachute, because it ain't gonna be golden, that. I guess you had to be there. And I feel like he's gonna wind up out of the Sea Org. He's gonna have this decompression period where he's gonna find the internet. And he's going to find out that there really is no such thing as an SP. The closest thing he's ever met to an SP is the guy he's been working for the last 40 years, And the only variable in all this is we do not know what his health situation is like at all, do we? We have no information at all, right?
Right.
But he certainly seems healthy enough to have tried to escape last month.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting. And actually, Liz, I'm curious. To the best of your knowledge, the sheriff's staff who've been involved, the social services staff who've been involved, do they have the context that the phone call you received 4 weeks ago, by Scientology standards, was
Yeah,
evidence
they
you
all
had
do.
just tried to escape?
Yeah, they all do. I've told them everything because
Wow.
for some unbeknownst reason, I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I was told he was dead. Please let me know. I just wanted. Sorry. I'm 43 years old, and for the first time ever, all I could think of was I just wanted my dad. I want one parent that gives a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Mark Headley
does
just
your
came up
mom-
with one of the best ideas ever.
Oh
I
my
think
God, that's amazing.
Mark contact is Clara the one who's done all those great designs for you guys? Have Clara create a
Yes.
Save Bob Ferris t-shirt.
I want one. I'm a rocket.
We are going to put them in every single merch store.
I'll put them in my store. Let's do it.
And we are going to give that merch revenue to Liz.
Yes.
To do whatever the hell she wants with it. And that is such a good idea. So we need to figure out, like, is it hashtag Save Bob Ferris or is it just Save Bob Ferris? We'll figure that out later. But we need to get Where is Bob Ferris as popular as Where is Shelley Miscavige, to the point where they're like, get rid of this freaking guy. We don't want the headache.
Right.
Save them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liz, where does your mom live in SoCal? Like, or is she up near you in NorCal, or what's the deal? Where is your mom? Is she still down there, or is your mom somewhere else in the country? She's with
me. Not
she
right
lives
now.
with you?
Like, no. Well, technically, there's a
Near
lot of
you.
technicalities on it.
Somewhere in the vicinity of where you are.
In the vicinity,
I see.
yes.
In the
but
vicinity,
not in the
in
same
area.
house.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay. So 400 miles away from where your dad is. Okay. So yeah. Just curious. And no other relatives of yours live in SoCal, correct?
I have my mom's family, but we haven't spoken in quite a few years.
And none of your dad's family, right?
I just reached out to his sisters and brothers to let them know what's going on, and his sister is keep me informed, but no, that's really about it.
And they never
just
heard
one of
anything
the sisters
over all these years, right? They never
Correct.
got the weird phone call or anything. Just you and your mom.
No, his youngest, I've been filling in every single update, like, hey, you can get your brother back. Hey, he can know his family loves him. I want them to know that he's not gone.
Yeah.
That's important.
Destiny Salazar. Liz, thank you for your courage and vulnerability and sharing your story with the community. It all makes a difference. Sending you lots of love.
Thank you very much.
Denver, Steve-O. Liz, we're all here rooting for you and your dad. Thank you, Alicia, Vanessa, Nora, Aaron, Mark, Claire, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore for being there for support. Osa smells like poo. After show is next. Since this is here, let's tackle it. I'm late, but have you contacted Adult Protective Services? Romantic Skeptic, yes. I'll do chapter breaks on the replay for this one so people can jump forward and go back to the different questions. But yeah, yes, social services has been involved. Is there a difference, guys, between social services and Adult Protective Services?
Not that I'm aware of. I think they're the same thing.
Okay.
Or there's multiple different, for lack of better terms, there's multiple different hats that social services carries. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tana, what do you guys think? Tana or Tana?
Tana. You said it first, so we're going to say that.
Tana Sandoval. I hope I wasn't a Scientologist in my past life with all my F-bombs. I'm trying to get better. Stay, Liz, stay strong. Okay, Rue says, does anyone explain to the lucky ones out that freeloader debt is not reported to the IRS and won't affect one's FICO score? Yeah, Scientology does not actually report this debt to collections agencies or anything. The only reason anyone pays their freeloader debt is if they want to keep being a Scientologist. And I think they do
Or see
understand
their
that.
friends.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yep.
Somebody wants me to try pressing the roller on my mouse. It will start the Zoom feature. Oh, you know what? That's probably correct. That's probably correct. Let's see. Heather Loving 1D. Please don't feel the need to apologize, Liz. We all feel your pain as well. We love you. You are strong.
Yeah.
Well,
Indeed.
I'll send this video to my therapist, and she can debunk it for me, because
You're doing
unfortunately,
great.
So this one's interesting. I keep hearing all these messages about this fire up in
Mhm.
Riverside County near the international
Mhm.
base.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
Mark
told.
posted earlier where he said there was a fire when he was there and they didn't evacuate.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, we're going to go down with this ship.
Yeah. Like they'll put crews out there to fight it and like, like hose it down.
Amazing. SPTV Tattoo Warrior wants to really rub it in. If you really want to see the best AA run cry, watch the Danny Masterson verdict came out. Watch the day the Danny Masterson verdict came out. Thanks for reminding everybody. SPTV Tattoo Warrior, appreciate it.
A few of us had been talking about you, and not in a dirty way. But we decided that we were gonna. Well, a lot of people talk about, whatever.
Aaron,
So
every SP's dreams.
we had talked about getting a tattoo because supposedly, Jeffrey was responsible for this whole thing. Not the fact that you told me that my dad was dead, but Jeffrey was responsible for this whole thing. So we've decided that Jeffrey is Charlie from Charlie and Charlie's Angels. You're Bosley.
I'm
because
Bosley.
Give us the information. You're Bosley.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the show, so sorry, guys.
You never saw Charlie's Angels? Oh my
Like,
goodness.
Maybe it's just the gay, because they were a bunch of 3 hot women doing that.
Yeah. Hello. Hi.
Was Bosley just a voice on the radio?
Yes, Bosley
No.
was the voice. Well, no.
No, Charlie was the voice. Bosley
Charlie
was the guy
voice
that
on
helped
the box.
everybody.
Bosley was the guy who was sending them out on the mission.
So you're the guy, Aaron. You're the
Okay.
Bosley
You're the guy.
of the SP world.
I'll have to look him up. I hope he's a good-looking dude. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he changed many times,
There's
and
more
then,
than one
unfortunately-
Bosley. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the movies and stuff, but yeah.
Free Xenu Project says, I support you all in SPTV and Aftermath Foundation, all of you that are doing all you do to help everyone. Yeah, this is one of those things. I mean, we have made it very clear that we would like the social services and the sheriff people to be able to tell Bob in any way that they can, if you want to leave. But again, I don't know how they would say it, right? There's an organization that we will, Liz will be able to get you set up, a place to live, a transportation, anywhere in the country that you'd like, anywhere in the world that you'd like. If you want a job, we'll help you get a job. I'm sure, well, being a SEERG member, he's probably gonna be like, I need a job. He probably can't even imagine just not working. But yeah, I just don't know if they'll ever be able to get that specific message. Like, are there things they're allowed to say, not allowed to say? Is it against the rules to try to encourage him to leave? Probably. It's probably against the rules, right? Social services rules. Like, do you guys have any idea, any experience in the area?
I don't, but I'm sure there's a lot of boundaries, and I'm sure that Scientology knows how to get around them because they've clearly been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So they've had to learn the rules of the outside world to use them against them.
Totally. Angie English, Liz, my heart breaks for you. What Scientology is doing to families is just evil. I hope you get your dad back soon. Stay positive.
Me too. I'm trying to hold on.
Miss Kim says, I'm going to INT and Twin Peaks in a couple months. My daughter lives between them, and I want bumper stickers and shirts for Bob and Shelly. We will wear them. All right.
Wow.
Well,
I love it.
I love it.
I bet we can get these items up in the merch stores by the end of the night. I'm pretty sure. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be great. Okay, there were a few from earlier on that I've specifically been saving until the end because they just felt like they were appropriate for the end. Arnie Van Halen says, hey, I'm asleep by the time you guys are live, but at least I can hear you say my name tomorrow morning. Say it. There you go, Arnie. Audrey. Oh, this was the one from Audrey that she was talking about from earlier. Okay.
Yes.
Hi, guys. Hugs from Paris. Just wanted to know, for those of you who haven't done your OT levels, what was the cause? Was it a money issue?
We were in the Sea Org. That was never going to happen.
Alicia, were you in the Sea Org?
Hell no. I hated that shit. I was bad. I hated all of it. I did like hardly anything. I started one course because that's how I was bribed to get my ears pierced, but I never finished it. So suckers.
That's amazing.
No, I was a really rebellious kid. I never liked Scientology. I rebelled against it. And
Oh, wait.
when you go to do stuff, you have to make sure you want to be there, right? Isn't that keeping Scientology working? And I never did. And they'd ask me, and I'd be like, no, I don't want to be here. Ugh. Like, what the fuck?
That is the greatest story of all time, Alicia.
So I have my ears
started a course
pierced.
you could get your ears pierced.
Yeah. And I got to burn the book because my mom is like kind of a hoarder. She kept everything. So after she passed away, we had to go clean all her shit out last summer. And I found the course book and I was like, this piece of shit. So we burned it. And it was really fun.
What course was it?
Learning how to learn. Because who doesn't need to know that when you're in elementary school? Just want your
Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that fucking tractor.
I mean, hey, if it helped you, it helped you.
If you're studying about a tractor and you don't have the mass of the tractor available, you can
Liz,
get.
You know, it's great, but like I also burned it on a farm that had tractors that worked. So if I wanted to go drive an actual tractor, I could have.
So you were in fact applying.
An actual, professional word clear and supervisor here to assist you tonight, gang. So
there you go.
Thank you. We're so happy to have everybody on board.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I was too busy doing my job to,
Exactly.
Did
Reverse
you ever
YouTube
go to
asks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. At least once every couple months.
Sure.
Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's not. It's not you. It's Nora, the never-ending story.
Sorry.
I love that movie. The never-ending story.
So do they.
All right. Reverse YouTube wants to know, have the leaked documents been turned over to Carnegie Mellon University professor? Is he aware of it so he can take action against David Miscavige? The answer is yes. And the professor you're talking about, David Turetsky, he said, wow, they tried really hard, but I'm still here. He's still a professor at the university all these years later. He's like, guess it didn't work. So there you go. And this is the one that I wanted to end with. Reese, keep up the good fight, Goldie.
Go, Goldie, go.
Woo! Goldie's our train conductor, y'all.
Goldie's the woman.
Yes, she had to put in some hard work tonight. And
awesome.
Lisa Robinson says, hugs, Liz. All right, everyone. The dogs are getting restless. We've hit our 2-hour mark.
We have
timed it perfectly.
There'll be more from Liz's story too. Just to put that. There's more.
Go subscribe to Degraded. Actually, let me pull up the banners here. I was a little negligent on this evening. Where is Nora's banner? Gosh darn it. Up, subscribe.
I really think you should have had Nora the gay.
Oh, I gotta change that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that would be pretty awesome.
And I didn't edit this, but subscribe to Vanessa LaRose and Alicia Patterson on YouTube at Degraded Daughters of Dianetics. Subscribe. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thanks to everyone who watches until the very end. We'll talk to you.
Thank you for watching me cry.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.